Okay, Jaden, so I have a very special book planned out for us today. The book is called Strega Nona. I know you've been learning about responsibility, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have chores now at home,
Mm-hmm.
right? So today we're going to learn about how Big Anthony had to be responsible, but he didn't quite do that, okay?
What did he do?
We're going to find out, okay? Strega Nona, an original tale, written and illustrated by Tommy de Paola.
That's a magic pot.
Let's find out. In a town in Calabria, a long time ago, there lived an old lady everyone calls Strega Nona, which meant Grandma Witch. Although all the people in town talked about her in whispers, they all went to see her if they had troubles. Even the priest and the sisters of the convent went, because Strega Nona did have a magic touch. She could cure headaches with oil and water and a hairpin. She made special potions for the girls who wanted husbands, and she was very good at getting rid of warts. But Strega Nona was getting old, and she needed someone to help keep her little house and garden, so she put up a sign in the town square. And Big Anthony, who didn't pay attention, went to see her. "Anthony," said Strega Nona, "you must sweep the house and wash the dishes. You must weed the garden and pick the vegetables. You must feed the goat and milk her, and you must fetch the water. For this, I will give you 3 coins and a place to sleep and food to eat." "Oh, grazie," said Big Anthony. "The one thing you must never do," said Strega Nona, "is touch the pasta pot. It's very valuable, and I don't let anybody touch it." "Oh, see," said Big Anthony. And so the days went by. Big Anthony did his work, and Strega Nona met with the people who came to see her for headaches and husbands and warts. Big Anthony had a nice bed to sleep in and a goat shed, and he had food to eat. One evening, when Big Anthony was milking the goat, he heard Strega Nona singing. Peeking in the window, he saw Strega Nona over the pasta pot. She sang, "Bubble, bubble, pasta pot, boil me some pasta nice and hot. I'm hungry and it's time to sup. Boil enough pasta to fill me up." And the pasta pot bubbled and boiled and was suddenly filled with steaming hot pasta. Then Strega Nona sang, "Enough, enough pasta pot. I have my pasta nice and hot. So simmer down my pot of clay until I'm hungry another day." "How wonderful," said Big Anthony. "That's a magic pot for sure." And Strega Nona called Big Anthony in for summer. But too bad for Big Anthony, because he didn't see Strega Nona blow 3 kisses on her magic pot. And this is what happened. The next day, when Big Anthony went to the town square to fetch water, he told everyone about the pasta pot. And naturally, everyone laughed at him because it sounded so silly. A pot that cooked all by itself? "You better go confess to the priest, Big Anthony," they said. Such a lie. And Big Anthony was angry, and that wasn't a very good thing to be. Is being angry a good thing to be?
No.
No, you're right. "I'll show them," he said to himself. "Someday I will get the pasta pot and make it cook, and then they'll be sorry." Is that a good attitude to have? No, I think you're right. That day came sooner than even Big Anthony would have thought, because 2 days later, Strega Nona said to Big Anthony, Anthony, I must go over the mountain to the next town to see my friend Strega Amelia. Sweep the house and weed the garden. Feed the goat and milk her. And for your lunch, there are some bread and cheese in the cupboard. And remember, do not touch my pasta pot. Oh yes, Stregonona, said Big Anthony. But inside he was thinking, my chance has come. What does Stregonona tell Big Anthony not to touch?
A pasta pot.
You're correct. As soon as Stregonona was out of sight, Big Anthony went inside, pulled the pasta pot off the shelf, and put it on the floor. Now let's see if I remember that song. Bubble, bubble, pasta pot. Boil me some pasta, nice and hot. I'm hungry and it's time to sup. Boil enough pasta to fill me up. And sure enough, the pot bubbled and boiled and began to fill up with pasta. Oh my goodness. Aha, said Big Anthony. And he ran to the town square, jumped in the fountain, and shouted, everyone, get forks and plates and platters and bowls. Pasta for all at Stregonona's. Of course, everyone laughed, but ran home to get forks and plates and platters and bowls. And sure enough, when they got to Stregonona's, the pasta pot was so full, it was beginning to overflow. Do you see everybody in the town going to get some pasta?
But some people laughed.
Yeah, people did laugh, but you know what? They saw that Big Anthony was telling the truth. Let's see what happens next, okay? Big Anthony was a hero. He scooped out the pasta and filled the plates and platters and bowls. There were more than enough for all the townspeople, including the priest and sisters from the convent. And some people came back for 2 and 3 helpings. Do you know what that means? That means that these people, they got the pasta 2 or 3 times. They loved it so much. When all had their fill, Big Anthony sang, enough, enough my pasta pot. I have my pasta nice and hot. So simmer down my pot of clay until I'm hungry another day. But at last, he did not blow the 3 kisses. Oh no, what do you think is gonna happen?
It's gonna fall out.
It's gonna overflow. Let's find out. He went outside, and to the applause of the big crowd, Big Anthony took a bow. He was so busy listening to the compliments from everyone that he didn't notice the pasta pot was still bubbling and boiling. Look at that, you're correct. The pasta was pouring out of the pot all over the floor of Stregonona's house and was coming out the door.
And what did this girl say?
That's a sister, and she noticed that all the pasta's coming out.
And
So let's find out.
And what did she say to him?
She told him. She said the pasta's pouring out all over the floor.
Is this his sister?
Yes. Big Anthony rushed in and shouted the magic words again, but the pot kept bubbling. He took the pot off the floor, but pasta kept pouring from it. Big Anthony grabbed a cover and put it on the pot and sat on it. But the pasta raised the cover and Big Anthony as well and spilled on the floor of Stregonona's house. Stop! Yelled Big Anthony. But the pasta did not stop. And if someone hadn't grabbed Big Anthony, the pasta would have covered him up. The pasta had all but filled the little house. Out of the windows and through the doors came the pasta, and the pot kept right on bubbling. The townspeople began to worry. Do something, Big Anthony, they shouted. Big Anthony sang the magic song again, but without the 3 kisses, it did no good. By this time, the pasta was on its way down the road, and all the people were running to keep ahead of it. We must protect our town from the pasta, shouted the mayor. Get mattresses, tables, doors, anything to make a barricade. But even that didn't work. The pot kept bubbling and the pasta kept coming. "We are lost," said the people, and the priest and the sisters of the convent began praying. And it certainly would have, had Stregonona not come down the road home from her visit. She didn't have to look twice to have known what had happened. She sang the magic song and blew 3 kisses, and with a sputter, the pot stopped boiling, and the pasta came to a halt. "Oh, grazia! Thank you, Stregonona," the people cried. And then they turned on poor big Anthony, and they said, "String him up!" the men of the town shouted. "Now wait," said Stregonona. "The punishment must fit the crime." And she took a fork from a lady standing nearby and held it to Big Anthony. "All right, Anthony, you wanted pasta from my magic pot," Stregonona said, "and I want to sleep in my little bed. So, start eating." And so he did. Poor Big Anthony.
What happened?
The end.
What did he do?
What do you think happened?
Wait.
Why do you think he went to sleep? Do you think he ate all that pasta?
Yeah, but he didn't eat one. In the end, look, he didn't eat one.
He ate all that pasta. You're right, there's one little pasta missing. But I'm sure he would have been very full. Did you enjoy that book?
Yes.
Good, I'm glad.